Hello, 7th graders. This week, we're going to be introducing the expository essay to you. We're also going to be using a strategy called the 4 square to help you write your essay effectively and to help you make sure that you include all the different components that is being required. Many of your teachers from last year did say that y'all did a lot of 4 square writing last year. Towards the end of the year, right before COVID took place, so this should be a refresher from last year. But don't worry if you weren't here last year or if you forgot what this is. We're going to go ahead and just recap everything for you from the beginning. What is an expository essay? Expository writing explains your thinking in a clear and complete way. Expository means to explain. Expository comes from the word expose, and to expose something means to show it. Expository writing means to show your thinking. On the right side of the screen, I have a sample STAR prompt. This was the prompt on the 2017 STAR writing test for 7th grade. If you notice, it even says expository at the top. This is what your prompt's going to look like when you take your STAR test or any CDBs that require you to write an essay. On this other side, I made some notes on what these words mean, what the significance of each section is for your essay. Your essay is going to be broken down into 3 parts. The read section is meant to activate your brain. A friend is a gift you give yourself by Robert Louis Stevenson. The think portion is a brainstorming part. Think carefully about the benefits of friendship. The write portion is the topic on which you will write your essay. Be sure to break this down to understand exactly what you will develop in your essay. It's right here. Write an essay explaining the importance of having a good friend. Be sure to clearly state your controlling idea, organize and develop your explanation effectively, choose your words carefully and use correct spelling, capitalization, punctuation, grammar, and sentences. So your essay prompt, what they're asking you to write about, is going to be where it says write. A tip that I've been telling my students for many years is to either circle or box where it says write. This is just to make sure you don't get confused on what your essay is about. A lot of times we'll have students make huge mistakes, and I mean huge because it's a small mistake, but it has huge consequences. Is they tend to write about what's in the box right here, or they go and write about where it says think. But keep in mind, if you do those 2 things, you are potentially putting yourself at risk to get a 1 or a 0 for being off prompt. Your essay prompt will always be in the section where it says write. I'm going to go ahead and just erase that just to have my screen ready for the next slide. And we'll go over this as the year progresses. I'll give you reminders to make sure to always be aware of what the prompt is and what it's not. You're going to need your journal or your L&B for this next section to write some notes. This is super important and a crucial step in planning an effective essay. At the end of the week, you'll be submitting a photo of something from this week's lesson. So be sure to be taking notes down and doing everything that I'm asking you to, because you will have to turn something into me at the end of the week via photo. If you need time to grab your L&B, go ahead and do so now and pause the video. Now, this may look like a lot at first, but it is a really good method to ensure that you have all the components that the rubric is asking you to include in your essay. The rubric is basically a checklist that the state wants to see in your essays. So what I need you to do, we're going to pause the video again, is to create 4 squares, just like this, and copy the information inside the squares this is your base. This is what you're going to be using from now until the end of the year to write an essay. And we call this the 4-square writing model. These are notes. We're not going to fill in anything regarding a specific topic for now, but I need you just to write the overall notes. You're going to write the word hook and leave some space here. Control an idea with some space, and then all the information that's in the other boxes. Go ahead and pause this video and give yourself a few minutes to copy the information down. Remember, we're going to come back to these as the year progresses. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the information in these boxes. Each box represents a paragraph. There's going to be 4 paragraphs. Your hook is the way you draw in the reader. Those first few words, that first sentence or 2, needs to be something engaging. It's going to want to have your reader read more. Right below that, in the same box, same paragraph, is where you're going to put your thesis statement. The state of Texas calls this the controlling idea. It's basically your stance on the topic. It's basically a sentence or 2 that tells the reader where you stand on a certain topic and what your paper is going to be about. Box 2 and 3 are where you put your 2 reasons. Reason 1, reason 2, and you give some sort of example to back up that reason. And you do the same thing here and right over here. I typically have my students do one personal example, an example on how they've handled that scenario or how a family member may have handled that scenario. And then in box 3 down here, I have them choose an example from somewhere else, from a book, a movie, the news, social media. And then we have our conclusion. It may look like a lot right now, but I promise you, once you get the hang of it, it's going to be so easy. Now, you're going to answer some questions.